the 29th of August, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua, Shoftim.
Guys are a little weak. Oh, there we go. Excellent. It says, Halech achar beit din yafeh. So go after.
Shall we say a good bezdin?
Good bet. Oh, okay.
Now, what
Okay.
Rashi is saying is as follows: it's not necessarily just an obligation on an individual to judge justly, but if so, what's the lashon tirdoif? When you pursuing justice. So the idea is, that's what Rashi says, halech acha beis din yafeh. When again returning to the appointments committee of each town, when you're looking for a beis din, go to all means at your disposal to be able to get the best beis din that there is.
I'm wondering about the word yafeh. I usually would think of yafeh as being beautiful, not quality.
Yeah, why the lashon should say beis din Godel or beis din Choshuv.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what beis din Yofeh. It's a good, interesting point. I don't know.
Hold on.
It is not something which is not described as beautiful. Beautiful beis din. I don't know.
According to the
It's interesting. It just reminds me, the Gemara says that when a person, after he passes this from this world and he comes before the beis din shel Ma'ala, so he says, he admits that, they judge him. He says, Yofeh dantani, you have judged me well. So he also uses that lashon Yofeh. So I don't know what they hear. It's interesting that lashon. Regard to judgment, you say din Yofeh. There's din Yofeh. Don't know. Not sure. Okay, let's do the next Rashi.
Okay, so you will live and take possession of the land. Kedai hu minoi hadayanim ha-kesherim. Okay, so you appoint I guess competent
Appointment
judges.
of appropriate dayanim that is worthwhile lahachyois Yisrael, to give life to Yisrael, ulahishivon al admosam, and to have them dwell in their land. Because as we think, leman, in order, leman tichya v'yorashta es haaretz.
So I can see that there's a connection between the idea of high quality judges and settling the land. But what does it have to do with keeping alive? People are not going to die because the judges are not so good.
HaKadosh Baruch Hu, one of the most important concepts for which HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world was that there should be justice. There should be justice in the world. And in fact, the Gemara says, Kol dayin hadon din la mitoi, kilu shutef HaKadosh Baruch Hu b'ma'aseh bereishis. Any judge who judges correct and just judgment, gives a correct a just judgment, is as if he's a partner in HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the creation of the world. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu created one of the most important concepts and ideas why HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world was that there should be justice. And when there is justice, that's considered by the Dayan as if he is partnering HaKadosh Baruch Hu in creating the world. And similarly over here, it gives life, meaning it gives, how should I say it? It gives a purpose, a foundation for the creation of the entire world. So this is, so certainly it will give life to the Jewish people. If, in other words, if there's justice, then the Klal Yisrael have what they call a zchus have a merit. They're worthy of remaining alive, remaining existent.
It's okay. A double, Rabbi Moore. It's a double. It's a double lashon tzedek have any relationship to when Hashem calls like to Avraham or Yaakov? Is there any relevance or symbolism behind that?
It's a little bit different. Parsha's the reason why what it means is that especially the use of the lashon tirda, you shall pursue, right? If you want to know like a moshe, what does it mean pursue? You see somebody is suddenly you park your bike, your new electric bike, you park it outside, and then suddenly you see a kid run off with it. So you give it your all in order to catch up with him and chop it, right? That's to pursue something, means something you give your all for. And when it says, so if it just said tzedek tirdev once, then for sure I know that you've got to give it your all. Okay, if it says it twice, okay, that means this has got to be your absolute purpose, right? That comes number one. Tzedek, justice is that's the absolute number one. So that's the implication over here. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, fine. Let's go on. Pasuk Chof Aleph, Lou.
I just wanted to say I heard a drasha on the question, why does it say tzedek tzedek? And the drasha goes that it's righteousness with righteousness you shall pursue, meaning the end does not justify the means. You can't, in order to achieve the desired goal of proper justice, you can't break the law.
It means you can't use all means at your disposal. You've got to do it justly.
Right. Okay. 21.
Okay.
Lo sita lecha ashera kol eitzel mizbach Hashem Elokecha asher ta'aseh.
Yeah, I don't hear you clearly.
Oh, sorry. Let me move the microphone over here. Okay, better?
Yeah, that's better. Sounds better. Yeah.
Okay, so you shall not plant for yourself an Asherah, any tree nearby the altar of Hashem your God that you shall make for yourself.
Yourselves.
So what's an Asherah? My English says a tree of idol.
A tree designated for idol worship.
Okay. Rashi, lo sita lecha asherah. You should not plant for yourself a tree for idol worship. Lechayvo aleha. This is to make one liable for doing such a thing. Mishas nitiosa,
In the
from
time
the time
of
of its planting. Va'afilu lo vada, and even if he did not worship it, oved below saseh, he violates the negative commandment al niti asa, do not concerning planting.
yeah, for planting it, right? In other words, he's already over an Issa for planting it. What it means is that now normally we have a rule that hasmona lav milsi, which means if a person dedicates something for a certain purpose, whether it be something a holy purpose or chas v'shalom the other way around for a purpose of doing avera chas v'shalom, right? Normally it doesn't. It's just dedicating it or designating it for that purpose doesn't give it the din, doesn't give it put a prohibition upon it for its use. That's in Moshe. I'll give an example. I'm just now learning the halachas in the evening shiur on halacha. So we're learning about tefillin. So a person designates a bag for tefillin, and he hasn't put tefillin in it yet. Then the mere designation to use it for tefillin, even though tefillin has a kedusha, but designating the bag for use for tefillin does not make it prohibited for other use. Because I just said, I just designated it, that thing. Hasmon alav milsa. But Gabe Avodah Zarah, however, due to the severity of the Issa of Avodah Zarah, so merely preparing, or here we got an example of planting the tree for the purpose of serving it, of worshiping it, that in itself makes the tree forbidden. And there's a prohibition on planting a tree for such a purpose. Okay?
Why is Hashem so exceptionally concerned about a tree? What's so bad about a tree as opposed to other things that you might?
Well, the truth is, you got the next passage. So Kim Lachomat Seva.
Matzeva is also very serious.
Anything that's for the purpose, even for the purpose of idol worship, right, is forbidden. Even if it's not actually being worshipped, being used for idol worship, the mere intention to use it for idol worship makes it prohibited.
I thought you just said the opposite.
No, I'm saying in other situations, but when it comes to Avodah Zarah, when it comes to idol worship, hasmona milsi. Yes, making it, dedicating it for the purpose of Avodah Zarah already makes it forbidden. That idol worship, Avodah Zarah is the exception to the general rule.
Okay, let's see. Lema'an tichya via rashta.
No, you went back to the previous passage.
Oh, I'm sorry. Lo sita lecha ashera kol eitzel mizbeach Hashem Elokecha. You should not plant for yourself a tree for idol worship, any tree near the altar of Hashem your God. As para, this is a warning. Avenotea ilan, that the one who plants a tree, ule voneh vayis, and one who builds a house, bahar habayis, on the Temple Mount.
Right. Now, first of all, Rashi says a number of things over here. This planting a tree, right, next to the altar of Hashem your God, first of all, Rashi says it's not only planting a tree. It's built any form of common building, simply building a house or anything like that. That's point number one. Point number two is this is even not for idol worship. This is period. The Harabayas must be clear of any other buildings, ordinary buildings. There's no trees there. There's no regular building, a bias, a private house or anything like that. The Harabayas should be clear of any building, only the building of the Beis Hamikdash or anything, other buildings which are required for the function of the Beis Hamikdash. That is the only thing that is allowed to be built on the Harabayas. So it's Ke'ilu, the Pasuk saying as follows, two things. Lo yisita lecha asherah, you mustn't plant for yourself asherah. V'kol eitz, eitzah mizbach Hashem elokecha. And any tree, means this is a second prohibition, mustn't plant any tree next to the altar of Hashem your God, which you are making for him, which you will make for yourselves. Okay?
Sounds good.
Now there's a point over here. Yeah. Just 1 second. Shoftim. And that is my probably stated. Yeah, that's basically what I quoted you from the Goaria. There's two separate prohibitions over here. Yeah. It said no other building is allowed on the Temple Mount. Only the Beis Hamikdash and anything, anything for the purpose, which is anything auxiliary for the purpose of the Beis Hamikdash. Only those things are allowed to be built on the Harabayas. Okay. Pasuk Chav Beis. Meir.
Says below takin lecha matzeva asher sanei Hashem elokecha. So you should not put up a monument, I guess, matzeva.
Well, we'll see. Rashi's going to explain what that is.
Oh, okay. Which Hashem hates. Hashem, your God, hates.
Right.
Okay. Below takin lecha matzeva. So you should not erect a monument. Matzevet even achad. Oh, a monument of a single stone. Oh,
Single stone altar.
Oh, an altar. Okay, la kriva to offer on.
A single stone.
Okay. Afilu l'shamayim, even for the sake of heaven. Wow. Okay. So Hashem doesn't want you to build one. Okay.
Why? So he tells you why.
Okay. Asher Saneh. Okay. Which Hashem hates. Mizbach Avanim. Oh, an altar of stones. Umizbach Adama. And an altar of earth. Tziva la'asot. He commanded.
That's what Hashem commanded you to make.
Oh, okay. So either
of a number of stones or made from earth.
Viet zu saneh. Okay, but this he hates.
It's this type of altar Kodesh Baruch Hu hates. Why?
Oh, because this is the way, I guess, the way, the law of the Canaanites.
Practice the religious rite of the Canaanim.
Yafal pi shehaita ahuva lo. Let's see, Yafal pi, and even though it was loved by him, Bimei Havot, in the days of our forefathers, okay, Akshav Sneya, but now he hates it. Me'achar She'asua Elu. Oh, since these were made, I guess, because the Canaanites made them.
As a right, as a right of
for idolatry. Right. Chokla avodah zarah. Okay.
So basically, what's interesting, I think maybe we discussed this last year as well. Things can change. I mean, here we got a particular example that even before, from the time of the forefathers till the time when the Torah was given over here to Moshe Rabbeinu, things changed, and the Canaanites had taken this form of practice to make a single stone altar as a practice, a custom of idol worship. So therefore, a person does it now. It's like it looks as if it's copying the Canaanites in their form of worship, and since they have fixed this form of worship for idol worship, right? Then it looks, Chas v'shalom, a person when he does it for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it looks as if he's taking the practice of the Goyim, what they use for their idols, he's using it now for serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't like. Okay?
Okay, good.
So the Afal Pisha is right? The time of the Ovis, because we see that Noach made an altar, a single stone altar, Avram Avinu, Yaakov Avinu. Nevertheless, nowadays it's we can no longer do the same thing as what the Ovis did. I mean, I'll give you an example. I mean, it wouldn't be a din d'oraisa, maybe it's only din drabonon, but following this example, let's say we decided they want to take on, a certain group want to take on a cross as their symbol. Now, since the Christians have used that now as their symbol of their worship, of their religion, so therefore for a Jewish organization to take that same symbol and use it for their own thing would be forbidden. Albeit
Another
only
example would be
maybe Drabonon.
organization took on to use a Magen David.
So it's interesting, this Magen David, where does it come from? I don't know. It's something which only really started appearing in the time of the Rishonim and maybe at the time of the Crusades, thereabouts, thereafter. Not much. It did not exist before. Somebody told me, somebody was discussing with somebody, and it's a relatively recent innovation, and it was not created by the Jews. It was created by the Goyim. They gave this symbol as a symbol of a Jewish thing.
So why are we allowed to use it?
I can't remember who told me this. It was not innovated by the Jews Bechlal, Magen David. Okay.
So why are we allowed to use it?
Let's go on.
Rabbi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Why are we allowed to use it?
Because why not? What does it otherwise symbolize?
You said it was created by the non-Jews.
Yeah, but for the Jews. as a symbol of something Jewish. Why did they designate it for the Jews? I do not know. They will have to, somebody maybe you can Google it. Google the Magen David, Star of David.
Well, what if the Christians started using the Magen David for their services? Would we say, okay, we got to stop using it?
If it's clearly, shall we say?
Say it was Jews for Yoshki.
That's what I said. I'll give an example of a cross. Right?
Let's say it was Jews for Yoshki. Jews for Yoshki said, we're going to make this our symbol. We're Jewish, but we're gonna make this the symbol that represents to us Yoshki.
Which symbol are we talking about? Cross? Hello?
No, the Magen David. You familiar with Jews for Yoshki? Jews for Yoshki is an organization of
J for J. Jews for J.
Who worship Yoshki. Right? So what they do is they take Jewish symbols, Jewish things, and they say, look, see, this is also good for Christianity.
They are not so widely known about and spread. Certainly adherence to them is very limited, Baruch Hashem. Mela, most people, when they see a Magen David, don't think of Jews for J. It doesn't bring up a connotation of something of something Christian, B'chla. On the contrary, it brings up a connotation of something Jewish. So Mele, that's not a problem. The whole point is over here, this single stone altar, just to give us an idea of thing, is similar to what nowadays a cross, right? A Christian cross denotes. Right? Somebody sees a cross somewhere, wherever it may be, he thinks of Christianity. It's a symbol of Christianity. So therefore, for a person now to use it for a Jewish organization, or to now do design, put a special design in a shul with all different crosses around, right, would be forbidden. Not for a Torah, but Torah doesn't address that. But probably midrabanon, rabbinically, it would be forbidden for the same reason as based on this pasuk. Okay? Okay, let's continue.
Moses Bach, Lashem, Elokecha, Shor, Viseh, Asher, Yiyeh, Vo, Moon, Kol, Davar, Ra, Ki, So, Vas, Hashem, Elokecha, Hu. Okay, do not slaughter for Hashem, your God, an ox or a lamb that
Actually, knows me.
It had in it a blemish.
Sacrifice. He slaughter as a sacrifice. Because the Lashon Zebach is always used as opposed to Shchita, always in connection with the sacrifice.
Tisbach means slaughter for sacrifice?
Yes.
Slaughter for sacrifice.
Okay.
Do not slaughter for sacrifice to the Lord your God an ox or a lamb that there is in it a blemish.
That has a blemish.
Any bad thing, because that is a to'eva to the Lord your God.
That's an abomination.
Yeah, I don't translate it as abomination because I don't know what abomination means.
something reviling, something, how do you call it?
What's reviling about a bull that has a cut on its lip?
Because you're like going to the extent of bringing a sacrifice to Hashem, and then you bring something, you bring him garbage, something of inferior quality.
Right, but it's not reviling. It's not like you brought him feces or something like that. That would be reviling.
Sorry?
This is something that has a certain quality to it that is contradictory to Hashem's desire for us.
Means,
It's
for
a
instance,
significant
the classic example, we had Cain and Hevel. They both offered sacrifices to Hashem.
right?
So who was the instigator of offering the sacrifices to Hashem?
Cain.
Who was the instigator? Cain.
Cain.
Okay. Cain, yet. And like Hevel was the one who just, how should we say, cottoned on to Cain's idea.
Jumped on the bandwagon.
Right? And he copied his idea, yet Hashem accepted Hevel's sacrifices, but not Cain's. Why is that?
Because Cain
Cain had this brilliant idea of bringing a korban, bringing a sacrifice as an offering to Hashem. He brought from inferior quality materials. Whereas Hevel, he brought something, the best of what he had. So you see that even if the person has a brilliant idea, he innovated the idea of bringing a korban, yet he brought something inferior. Kosh Baruch Hu didn't want to accept it. You see, it's not just the idea of wanting to bring an offering to Hashem, but it has to be, if you're doing it, do it properly. Don't bring something of inferior quality. Okay?
We are going to run out of time in 4 minutes.
4 minutes. I also see that the same thing. Okay.
So let's see. Lo tisbach v'gomer kol devar ra. Do not slaughter for sacrifice, etc. Any bad thing.
Okay. So now the word davar ra means come from dibur ra. And that's what Rashi's going to mention over here. As hara,
it's a warning. Limefagel vakadashim. For one who causes pigul in that which is holy.
That which is holy foods, holy sacrifices, al yedei dibur ra, by making a bad utterance, bad form of speech, which means as follows. There's only a thing, because since we're limited in time, we're going to explain it. That there's a din that somebody, the essential 4 types of service which are done with every korban, which are shchita, slaughtering the animal, Kabbalah, catching the blood, the initial blood that spurts out, halacha, taking that blood to the altar, and then splashing the blood on the altar. Those are the 4 essential parts of the service of a korban. Now, if during that time, whilst the shchita can be done by anybody, but catching the blood and bringing it to the mizbeach and splashing on the mizbeach must be done by a kohen. Now, if at the time these avodas are being done, the person doing it has an intention to do the service in an inappropriate way, like he intends to eat the korban after the time, or whatever. I'm not going to go into all the halachas, Okay, so the pasuk says Ba'atzam, he even has in mind not to do it properly. So here, with pasuk Rashi is telling us, it's not just doing it in mind; it's only in thought. It's that he has to say, "I am shechting this animal with the intention of eating it after the prescribed time." That makes it pigul.
Ah,
Yeah, that's what's called pigul. So Rashi says over here, this is now telling you that the kohen who does such a thing, or even somebody, a regular person who shechts a sacrifice, and he does it with the intention of eating it after the time, not only does the animal become the sacrifice, become disqualified, but the person who does it is transgresses a prohibition. This part of pasuk over here, Lo yisizbach l'Hashem Elokecha shoy baser kol davar ra, means anything that comes, any expression, any utterance which a person makes to make the korban pasul and pigul. If he does that, he's over an issa alav. He's over a lav prohibition, and therefore he makes the, not therefore. So there's two things. He makes the korban pasul, pigul, and he's been over an issa for doing that. But then, okay, the pasuk sefer, but my point is Rashi saying that it is through dibur ra. Kol davar ra means through a bad, inappropriate form of speech, utterance. That's what Rashi says. And other droshes have been mentioned in Shchitas Kochim, which is Maseches Vachim. The pasuk, the Gemara darshans it in other ways as well.